WSTA Time Check brought to you by the Hurley Funeral Home.
It's 10:05.
This time check is brought to you by Dan Hurley Home for Funerals and Cremation Center of St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, located at 3192 Altona and Wellguns, caring for those you care for. Call us 340-774-1464.
The following is paid for by the committee to elect Shirley Saddler.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining Talking with Saddler. Today, my guest is none other than our beautiful AG, Miss Denise George Kunks. Miss Kunks, welcome.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me.
You are so welcome.
And that would be Denise George.
Okay, Denise George. All right.
Changes.
Changes, and sometimes the changes are for the better, so.
Always.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about white-collar crime and the importance of white-collar crime in our community and why it is needed. And Miss George, could you give a little history of yourself and then go into white-collar crime?
Well, I am, as you know, I was the newly appointed Attorney General last year, in April of last year.
Congratulations.
Appointed by Governor Albert Bryan. And but previous to that, I've been a prosecutor for several years with the Virgin Islands Department of Justice. So being with justice is not new to me. During that time, for about 10 years of that time, I was the director of the White Collar and Public Corruption Crime section of the VI Department of Justice, and the lead white collar corruption prosecutor for Department of Justice. So I've had quite a lot of experience in that, but as well as other crimes as well. I mean, I've been a criminal prosecutor, that's just a portion of it, but also violent crimes and other crimes that beset our territory.
Well, it sounds good. What is the importance of us having white-collar crime today?
Well, I would say that, first of all, our law, in Title III of our law, specifically states that there shall be established within the Virgin Islands Department of Justice a section for the aggressive prosecution and investigation of white-collar and corruption crimes. That is a mandate, and that law has been on the books for many, many, many years. So, first of all, it's important because it is the law, and the rule of law is very important. That's the bedrock of any society, any community. So that gives it its importance, because when you have a law that establishes that alone establishes the importance. During the time that I was as a director of white-collar crime, we did have a fully staffed, well, not fully staffed, I should say that, well, partially staffed, but it was, we were able to do what it is that was mandated by statute, pretty much. Since then, since my return to Department of Justice, it was evident that the white-collar corruption section was pretty much dismantled. But at some point then, Governor Bryan, what he did is he then proposed a supplemental budget for the Department of Justice for those funds to be used for the establishment of the white-collar public corruption crime division. And he did that because of the fact that it had not been funded, it had been dismantled, and it would have required additional funding in the Department of Justice to be able to start to establish that.
So where are we with the supplemental funding?
Well, the supplemental budget that was proposed by Governor Bryan last year for the white-collar corruption division was rejected by the legislature. So it was not funded,
okay,
even today.
So that the listening audience and myself could understand, what is white-collar crime?
It usually involves financial crimes, financial aspects of it, fraud, identity theft, obtaining money by false pretense. You have, con artists, misrepresentations. That's where the lying comes in, where people misrepresent in order to obtain some kind of financial advantage. So those are the types of crimes, and it falls into corruption because it is for the white collar and corruption crimes. that our law prescribes, and the corruption deals with in government. When you have these white collar type crimes, fraud, misrepresentation, embezzlement, etc., in government, then that's where it becomes public corruption. Well, sometimes I always do describe myself as an eternal optimist. So I feel, it is important. I think people understand how important it is, especially now we get all kinds of federal funding coming in. We have to show that, as a governor once said, we got to show that we keep people accountable. We're accountable for ourselves, that we can manage ourselves and we can check ourselves. That's important. But not only that, but in our community, because I'll tell you, when white collar crime and corruption and that sort of thing flourishes, what happens is that when you have people as persons that may cheat and obtain funds from the government, what happens is that the people in the community who were entitled to the funds, or who the funds were to service, they lose. So and we lose, because when you talk about taxpayers' money and government funds, it's for us. And so the damage is obvious. And so I say that I'm an eternal optimist, because right now the financial situation is even worse now, especially with COVID-19. So I'm not unrealistic, but I would say, and I would hope that when, at some point when the financial situation gets better, that definitely this needs to be a priority, and it ought to be a priority in funding.
But if I understood you correctly, and correct me if I didn't, you said earlier that there was some supplemental funding by the government.
Oh, no. Well, what I said was that the governor proposed last year a supplemental budget to the legislature. And the reason why it was supplemental is that we submit a budget, of course, to the legislature. When the budget was submitted, first of all, I had not yet come on board, because I came on board in April of last year. So several months had passed. And so once I was appointed, the budget for the Department of Justice had already been submitted to, I guess, OMB or the legislature. So once I came on board, and, I guess at that point we're looking forward to what it is that the needs are, Governor Bryan, noticing that need, proposed a supplemental budget to the legislature that would enable funding of the white collar public corruption division. And so that was a proposal by him. And so that, of course, the legislature, they control the purse strings. I mean, we can propose, and then it's up to them to determine what they're going to fund from what they're not going to fund. If they want to see something happen, they fund. If they don't want to see something happen, they don't fund. I mean,
What was their rationale on it? Did you get one?
I did not have that conversation, so I'm not aware of that at all. No, I'm not aware of that.
So then it's up now to the legislature to, I guess, to review it, look at it, or try to reconsider it as part of something vital to the community, or it's up to the governor again to do another supplemental budget and ask for them to review.
Well, as I always say, the only justification for that they need is the law. The law says there shall be established within the Department of Justice a white collar public corruption division.
I love that.
So the law is the justification. There's so once it's established, then it says for the aggressive prosecution of white collar crime. So that's my job. That's the AG's job to do that.
Okay.
But it would be their job to fund it so that it can happen. So that's how it works.
So now the pressure has to be put on the legislature to find funding, if I understand correctly.
Well, the legislature is the only body that has the power to actually provide the funding. Yes.
Well, I hope they're listening, because it's to me, it's vital. And as you said earlier, with all the money coming in, we have to have a check and balance. We have to be able to give accountability to the people giving us the money, and accountability in how we spend the money. And is there anything that I haven't asked you that you feel is important in regards to white collar crime that you want to say?
Well, I think that you've asked me, but I don't know if there's anything that you might think that you're leaving out. I just think that as of now, we know the situation we're in economically, but at the same time, in some ways, on the one hand, it shows that, it'll be difficult to be able to find funding, maybe, because of the situation. This economic situation is not something anybody has all the answers to, definitely. Yet at the same time, in some ways, that's the very reason why we probably need this more than ever, because then there are, because of this, there's stimulus monies. There are all kinds of things coming in and
that we have to watch.
So it is it's almost like a double-edged situation, double-edged sword situation, but it seems like it's more needed even in these circumstances.
So for the layman person who's trying to understand what we are talking about, and no disrespect to anyone, the best way to describe white-collar crime would be a check and balances of government funding, or is it more than that?
Well, it entails that, but it does entail that. It entails, crimes that evolve from waste, abuse, and fraud in government or out of government. White-collar covers also private, industry, embezzlement and fraud and everything, and private individual. Remember, identity theft, identity fraud is something that, we often have to warn people about a lot. Yes, those are white-collar crimes. So these are private individuals that are impacted as well, private and private companies. So it does not only cover government. The government corruption part is what covers government, but no, white-collar crime, yes, it covers cybercrime, which is a large situation now, money laundering, that sort of thing. So it really spans a great area.
I have a question for you. What is your overview and your expectations now that white-collar crime may not be open, and your agency, how do you proceed to move forward with it?
The white-collar, as I said, the division had been dismantled. That is just one portion, though, of the Department of Justice. We have many divisions. We have the criminal division. First of all, we prosecute violent crimes, murders, the gun crimes, the assaults, sexual assaults, everything. So we have a large prosecution, criminal prosecution, crime, many other types of crimes that are being prosecuted, and so our work continues in a way, unfortunately, but because the crime continues. Okay. So we do that, very important work there. Also the civil division, where we handle all of the civil cases. We represent the government of the Virgin Islands and its agencies in every single civil matter, civil lawsuit, and we would file lawsuits on behalf of the government in the interest of the government, and that's what the Attorney General does. We also govern the medical examiner division under the Department of Justice that deals with the autopsies and everything, as well as the division of the paternity and child support that's another thing that deals with the support of families, children, and families throughout the Virgin Islands, and as well as we have a component of the family division that is a part of the criminal division, but we deal with the juvenile crimes and matters and child abuse matters, and with the Department of Human Services. So there's so much work that the Department of Justice does under the Attorney General's office. We are very, very, very busy, and we stay very busy in serving the community the best we can.
It sounds that way, and I must say, to take on all of that, you got to be brave. So congratulations.
Yeah, I have a really great staff. I always say that. The people that work Department of Justice and we work. We don't even work. We don't have 8 to 5 jobs. We like 24/7 on call. We're working really hard, but we do so much within that department.
Okay, I'm seeing the light blinking. I'm not sure if we have a call. Let me see. Hello.
Yes, pleasant day.
And good morning, and a pleasant day to you. Thanks for calling, and you can ask the question that you want.
Yes, I would like to ask a question because I'm disappointed at the justice system because I serve as a juror and saw how white collar crime still getting away with things. What happened with the Miller, with the Miller case and Carty and Nowinski? They're still out there free, and we ain't seeing no justice, and that's disrespectful to us, the juror who served on that case. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll have the AG respond. Thank you for calling.
Well, what I would say is that he is referring to the hospital corruption case that went on for many years. It was first a mistrial in that case, and then we took it to trial again. And under my tenure, now we had prosecutors and we were able to get a conviction after a 6-week-long trial. And what all I can say at this point, we do our job and we prosecute cases, and then it is the job of the justices. I would not say that it's anything. I of course would say that I uphold the justice system and think it's important in the way it functions, but at this point in time, we have the matter is appealed on both sides, so it's still in court. So I'm not going to discuss the details of that. But I would say that justice does work and the system works, and sometimes it just, it's just, they're both sides.
Okay.
You have to deal with that.
Well, we have another call, so let's see what's up. Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning to you both.
Yes, thank you.
I missed a part of the show, and I was curious. First of all, I want to say I think it's absolutely needed and should be funded. But I missed the amount that they're requesting for the budget. I'll hang up and I'll just listen on the radio.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. Have a blessed one.
You too.
Okay.
I don't recall the exact amount of the supplemental. I believe it was around 1.2 million for that, which was definitely a substantial start for that. So, yeah, pointing at something. I'm not sure.
No, I'm sure we have another call.
Oh, okay. Yes, but it was around that. But don't quote me on that because I don't know the exact amount, but it was in that vicinity.
Okay. We'll take the other call. Good morning. Oh, I guess we lost them. Okay, another one. Good morning. Hello? Hello? I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not getting it, but it's still there. Okay. Is it? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we still are discussing white-collar crime with the AG. Is there anything else you want to add?
Let's see. We don't have a call? We have a call?
I'm not sure. Good morning.
Oh.
No, I'm not
It's not a
sure
call.
if it's getting to it. The light is blinking, but we are not getting the calls. So we'll move on. For a wrap up, what is it would you like to say in regards to your agency, White Collar Crime, and how the community can best help us function within your agency?
Well, I think that one of the things with the Department of Justice Attorney General's office, the thing that we see most is of course the criminal aspect, the crimes in our territory, especially the escalating violent crimes that we do see, and that that actually jeopardize the safety of people in our community, of each and every one of us. And the prosecution, we do the prosecution section, of course. The Virgin Islands Police Department, they work very hard they are the first responders. We work hand in hand in the way that we can provide assistance with them during their investigation. But it's important to also have the community involvement to understand that it's for the safety and the benefit of the public in order to prosecute.
I agree. Let's try one more time because I'm seeing the light blinking. Good morning. Well, I guess we're not going to get it. Well, I thank you for coming, and I'm hoping that the listening audience got the enlightenment that I would like them to have gotten in regards to white-collar crime. And given that, is there any last thing you want to add before we close out?
No, well, what I would say is that thank you very much for inviting me, and you requested an interest in finding out what's going on. I think that's important because we at Department of Justice, we're really there to serve, and everything that we do is to serve the community. So it's weird whether we're prosecuting crimes, representing the government in civil cases, or paternity and child support matters. It is our service to the public, and we work very hard for that. And we encourage the public, members of the public and the community to be involved. You can ask questions. You can we want to be available so that we can help us to do better, to serve you, and as long as you realize that we could be partners in this to some extent, particularly when certain things that actually impact the community, such as crimes in our community of any sort, whether it's violent crimes or white-collar crimes.
I want to ask, does the community, based on what you just said, does the community follow up by helping, or is it more that we would like them to step up and give more input?
Well, I would say that, just from my observation and from my knowledge, the community plays a very integral part, members of the community, because remember when there's a report of a crime, they see something to report it, or it happens to them, or victims are able to come forward, and we encourage that. So yes, I would say definitely the community is the integral part, because there's no way that we, the police, we can do anything without their involvement, and that's how we've been able to do so far, as far as witnesses and people who come forward, and even jurors. So.
Okay. We're going to try one more time because I'm seeing this light blinking, which is giving me a problem. So let's see if it works. Nope, it doesn't. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to a close of our show, and I thank you for listening, and I hope that the information that you got today was useful and helpful to you. Ms. George, thank you very much for coming, and I really appreciate the information you were able to share with us. And I knew you had somebody else here with us that we did not introduce. Ms. Sandra Thomason, thank you for being here.
Good morning, thanks for having us.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Talking with Shirley Saddler next week, not next week, but week after next, will be the AG, will be the Agriculture Commissioner. Thank you very much. See you once again in 2 weeks.